in Australia, the thing is, food is very different how we eat at home in India. It's very seasonal, it's very fresh. Like I always say, like the way we eat Indian food in Indian restaurants, it would be like wholly 1 billion people will be so fat because there's so much cream and butter in everything.
Dirty Linen continues to dive into summer with Harry Mangat from Biji Dining. Harry is an Australian Indian chef that I have followed and admired and even had the pleasure of cooking with over the past couple of years. And I am super excited that he's returned from Queensland to Victoria and he's going to be doing some cooking locally over summer. Harry, welcome to Dirty Linen.
Oh, thank you, Dani. Thanks for having me.
It's so good to have you, and I am really excited to hear what you're going to talk about today. We are talking to people about their favourite meals, flavours, ingredients, taste sensations. So lay it on us, Harry. What have you got for me?
So I got a few things. So one of my favourite meals, which was like almost 5-6 years ago, it was at Quay. And then few dishes of my mum, and actually few dishes from Indonesia from my mother-in-law's dishes. So so a lot of different styles.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so diverse. I absolutely love it. All right, well, let's start with Quay.
So Quay, so I went to Quay, I think 5 years ago before their renovation and stuff, and it just blew me away. Like every dish was so creative, so technical. But the main part for everything was it was just tasty. It was just mind-blowingly flavorful. So I was just like, wow. And I went with my wife, and she's a vegetarian. And some of her dishes were even better than my dishes. And I was like, wow, how can a vegetarian dish taste more better than a meat dish? But it was just and back in there, there was this snow egg was still on the dessert menu. The chocolate texture dessert was still on there. So I was blown away.
That's really amazing. So for anyone who doesn't know, so Quay is a fine dining restaurant in Sydney. It's just right overlooking the harbour. The view's incredible. Over to the harbour bridge, it's just like not even $1 million view. It's like $1 trillion zillion view. And Peter Gilmore's menus are, yes, as Harry says, like so creative. But also, his Peter Gilmore is such a seasonal and produce focused cook, which I think sometimes gets sort of missed because some of the dishes are so iconic. There are these dishes like the snow egg that you mentioned that, really were bolted onto the menu at that time anyway. But I mean, it's really sensitive food, I think, as well.
Yeah, no, it is. It was just I didn't have the words. Well, when I was there, I was like, eaten so many restaurants after that, but this is one which always takes me back, and I can remember exactly, I was just like, but there was crab dish with chaman mushi and a really beautiful broth, and then definitely the dessert, it was just mind-blowing snow egg, everything about dessert that it should be textural, creamy, crunchiness, everything. It was just, I can talk about this forever.
What were you doing at the time, Harry? I mean, were you working in a kitchen at the time? I mean, what was happening in your life at that period?
So I was still trying to get my feet where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. So I think I might be working at one of the gastro pubs back in days. I don't really exactly remember when it happened. So, but it was just I was still trying to find how I want to cook, what kind of food I want to do. I was I wanted to stage at places, and Quay was one of those spots I really wanted to, but I didn't want to go to Sydney. So for that reason, I didn't do anything at Quay. Because I love Melbourne, so that's why I was like, you know what? No, don't worry. But so I think I was still learning to be a chef, and so many things were going on, and I was just eating out a lot just to see what I really want to cook. The kind of food I want.
Do you think there's anything from that experience at Quay that, sent you on a different direction or opened your mind in a particular way?
Yeah, because, right now these days, everybody is about creating things and inventing things, but they forget about flavor. The dish needs to taste good. sometimes that comes second. But for me, it was like, my God, this, like at Peter Gilmore's when I ate there, it was just like, oh my God, like everything tastes good. That's the main focus. But it's so creative, so, like mind-blowingly technical, but then it tastes so good. Like, how does he get that? So it was just one of those things. So because I didn't know what I want to do. I want to do fine dining, or do I want to just do simple traditional food, or French or Italian? But I think that just made I can be creative, but just gotta make sure everything tastes good. So yeah, I think that helped me a lot actually.
For people who haven't experienced your food, how would you describe what you do?
So like my food is more, it's it's inspired from Indian food, Indian flavors, but it's not Indian. It's it's more, like I'm mixing Indian with Australian ingredients, and being in Australia, it's like it's a new evolution, I can say, because Indian food is being inspired from so many years from Portuguese, French in Pondicherry, and then obviously Arabic food and Persians and stuff. So I always thought like coming to Australia, I think my food is now evolving all the time. It's not taking old dishes and recreating them. It's about creating new flavor combinations and new dishes, which can be signatures in the future. And that's why I do a lot of collaborations with different chefs and from different background, different cultures. So that way I can create new things. I can learn about their culture and how it can be mixed into Indian flavors. Like in India, it's like, we use a lot of soy sauce in some of the dishes in street food. That's because it comes from China. And, there's tribal food from all the tribes in India. So it's a lot different than what we really know about Indian food in Australia or around the world.
Okay, so Harry, what's the next dish or meal that you want to talk about?
So I want to talk about my mom's a carrot dish called gajar ki sabji, which is just simple, but everything it's about seasonal. It talks about carrots being coming out in winter, and then it just all she uses is like onion, garlic, ginger, turmeric, and cooks the carrots, and then a bit of potatoes and peas. So it's called gajar ki sabji. It's just super simple, but it's at its best in the season. And I used to look forward to it throughout the year because it only can be eaten in winter. Like not can be eaten in winter. We used to be able to get carrots in summer, but the best start in winter. So my dad would never get the first harvest. He'll wait for at least like a month to get carrots. He's like, oh, the first harvest is not good. Farmers hurry to go and take the carrots into the market. But he was like, after a month, the carrots are going to be at its peak, and that's when we're going to buy it, and that's when you're going to get your gajar ki sabji. So yeah,
it's so good to look forward to something like that and to have to wait for it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like in India, there's a lot of dishes like that. There's saag, which is made from like you might know like saag paneer and stuff in Australia, but in India usually it's just simple, like it's just saag with, and that's such a winter dish as well. Saag with roti, makki di roti, which is like corn meal, maize, and yeah, so that comes only in winter. Cauliflower is only winter, so you look forward to these amazing dishes throughout the year, and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait. So yeah. So I think gajar ki sabji is one of my favorite. I always look forward to that one.
And can you make it as well as your mum?
No, I don't think so. I've tried it many times. It doesn't taste same. I think it's maybe the carrots because in carrots in India a bit different. They're more towards reddish color, more like red than orange. And I think it might be the carrots, but I don't know. But maybe it's just my mom's cooking. The way she cooks, she's just amazing cook.
Is your mum's food like from a particular region?
Yeah, so we are from Punjab, north of India. And then she's more Punjabi like style, like, lot of onion, garlic, ginger, turmeric, and like ghee is the main part of most things. Like, but ghee is we use the ghee a bit differently. It's not about, we don't use it while we cook it. We put it at the end according to whoever your flavor So if I want more ghee, I'll put like 1 teaspoon. My dad would put 3 2 teaspoons. My sister doesn't like any, so it's just like, you finish it off at the end. It's like butter, like you put it at the end, just, last dollop, and it's like amazing. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. So it's just so many different ways of cooking things. Like, in Australia, the thing is, food is very different how we eat at home in India. It's very seasonal. It's very fresh. It's, like I always say, like the way we eat Indian food in Indian restaurants, it would be like wholly 1 billion people will be so fat because there's so much cream and butter and everything.
Yeah, certainly there's a few things that perhaps have been lost in translation with the Indian restaurant experience, especially as rendered in most places in Australia. Okay. Well, I'm really excited to try these carrots one day, but what else have you got for me?
So now I got my my mother-in-law's ayam pangan recipe, and ayam pangan dish, which I just love. It's like she's from Indonesia, and it's just another dish which I really love. It's simple, but it's done so well, and it's so much flavor. It's just chicken dish. It's like a dry chicken dish, so you kind of braise it braise it first, and then you put it under the charcoal, on the charcoal grill or under the grill to get that caramelization going. And it's just mind blowing. So yeah, so every time she asks what I want to have, and that's what I want to have, ayam pangan.
I love it. And what does it get served with? Is it served with rice and other sambals, or just?
Yeah, usually rice. We have, she makes a bit of sambar, and then we always have like kachamanis and rice and few other few prawn crackers and things like that. So it's just like a mix of so many different things. Yeah, but I just love it the way it's cooked. It's like this a little bit burnt. The fat is all caramelized. It's crispy. It's like, mind blowing. I just love it.
My goodness, my mouth's watering. That's so good.
I might have to come and cook for you one day, both of them, gajar ki sabji, and I can't cook Quay's food, but I can definitely do the gajar ki sabji and ayam pangan.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds good. How do you think they would go together, this Indonesian chicken and the Indian carrots?
No, it's like the flavors are a lot similar. Like I think that's what I feel sometimes people like differentiate these two cuisines a lot, but the flavor is like, it does still have those similar flavors, onion, garlic, ginger. The only difference is like more towards like soy sauce and ketchup mayonnaise, but which goes really well with those flavors too. So I actually sometimes put quite a few, like a bit of ketchup mayonnaise or soy sauce into like my cooking, because I like cooking those kind of different flavors and things. And it just adds that bit of more saltiness and bit more umami into things, so which I love. So yeah, I think they'll go well, really good.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's that whole, Chinese Indian cuisine, which is, there's hundreds of dishes in that. So yeah, there is a lot of, I guess, flavor crossovers and connections, and yeah, I guess so many paths of migration through all those areas. So yeah, I think food from those different cultures loves to make friends with one another. Harry, it's been amazing to go on this little flavor journey with you, from fine dining to, seasonal carrots straight from the farm in India, and to the beautiful Indonesian chicken from your mother-in-law. Thank you so much for taking me on this little flavor journey today.
No, thank you for having me. It's just been amazing talking to you, like always.
I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to eat your food. And I can't wait to cook with you again one day.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Great. All right. Take care. Talk soon.
Yeah, you too, Dani. Thank you. Bye.
This is Dirty Linen, and I'm Dani Valent. We air the issues that the hospitality industry finds hard to talk about, hearing from different people with unique perspectives. We want to hear from you as well. If you have something that needs to be said about a topic, get in touch so we can include your perspective. Contact us at dirtylinen@deepintheweeds.com.au or hit us up on Insta at Dirty Linen Podcast. We can't wait to hear from you.
This